This is going to be a quick tutorial to show you how to create a subscribe button in Photoshop. Let's begin by creating a new project in Photoshop. I've just created an 800 by 400 pixel project. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the background layer with a gray color. So I'm just going to do Edit Fill, and I'm just going to fill it with gray. And then I'm going to create a subscribe button using the rounded rectangle tool or the rectangle tool or the ellipse tool. So I'm going to use the ellipse tool for this one. I'm just going to create an oval and just center it on the project. And then it's just really a matter of at least initially adding some layer modes or layer options to the ellipse. So I'm just going to double click on the layers panel to open up the layer styles. And so why don't we just add a few of the layer styles. First, let's give it a little color. So I'm going to go in. I'll give it some red as the color. Let's put a stroke around it, white stroke around it, and just to give it a little bit more depth, I'm just going to add a drop shadow, and I'll just change the angle a little bit on the drop shadow, just to again to give it a little bit more depth. And then I'm going to add an inner shadow just so it looks like it's inset. So I'll just add an inner shadow so you can see now that it looks like it's kind of inset. And then I'm going to add either a gradient or a pattern, or maybe both underneath. But in order to show that, I'm just going to go back into the color overlay option and kind of lower the opacity a little. I'll add a pattern to it, and I just selected a random pattern here. And now you can see the texture underneath. If I took the color away, you can see that the pattern is this grayish pattern, but I'm adding some color to it. And lastly, why don't we just give it a little bit of a gradient overlay. And the overlay that I'm using is a black to white overlay gradient, and the angle is just slightly coming from the left down to the right, so we get this shadow pattern. So that looks pretty good as for having a background. So to that, we want to just add some text very simply. Go into the horizontal text tool. I'm going to click on the project, and I'm just going to add the word subscribe. So why don't I just type in subscribe, and then I'll just move it on top of the background that we just created. So I'll just center that, put subscribe, and then it's just a matter of doing the same thing we just did to the background, and that is just add some layer style options to the actual text. So let's just add a few here. We can put a little drop shadow in there and just adjust it so the shadow is closer. We can add a bevel and an emboss if we wanted. We can add a stroke if we wanted, but that doesn't look so good. So really, it's just a matter of what we wanted to do as far as our own preferences. And really, we're done with the subscribe button now. If we wanted to change the colors around, add different patterns, inner glows, outer glows, it's really up to us. But if we wanted to do a simple subscribe button, there you go. We just did it.